Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem number 1341, movie rating. So what the question states here, we have to write the SQL query to find the user who has rated greatest number of movies. So again I'm telling, so first one here is we have to write the SQL query. The first one what we need to find, we have to find the user who has rated the greatest number of movies, right? So in case of a tie, we have to return the lexicographically smaller username. Just keep this in mind. In case of tie, we need to return the lexicographically smaller username, right? So the second one here, this was for the first one. We have to find the user who rated the greatest number of movies. In case of type, we have to return the lexicographically smaller username. So in case of second one, we have to find the movie with highest average rating in February 2020. So this one we have to keep in mind. We have to find the movie with the highest average rating in February 2020. In case of a tie, we need to return the lexicographically smaller movie name. Again, in case of tie, we have to return the lexicographically smaller movie name. Two things we need to find here. Find the user who has rated the greatest number of movies. In case of tie, return the lexicographically smaller username. Second one, find the movie with highest average rating in February 2020. In case of tie, return the lexicographically smaller movie name. That's what we need to do. So let's come to the example part. Let's consider the first example right here. So just give me a second here. So first let's discuss the table here. We have been given the table movies and table users, right? Table movies consists of the column name, movie ID and the title, and movie ID is of the type integer and title is of the type varchar. And here users we have, for the user table we have the columns user ID and name, and user ID is of the type integer and name is of the type varchar. This is fine. So I hope this is clear. Now let's come to the example. So let's consider this one as well. We have the table movie rating as well, right? So here movie ID, user ID and rating is of the type integer and created at is of the type date. So we know this one now. So let's come to the example one here in this case. So just give me a second here in this case. We have this one, right? So let's consider example one here. So here we have movies table, right? So here in this case 1 2 3 we have movie ID, title as Avengers, Frozen and Joker they have given. Users table we have 1 2 3 4. In this case Daniel, Monica, we have Maria as well as James, right? So they have given the movie rating table as well here in this case. Movie rating table consists of the columns movie ID, user ID, rating as well as created it. So here we have already discussed this one, right? So we know this one. So this consists of these three are of the type integer and created it is of the type date, right? So here we have been given movie ID, user ID, rating and created it, right? So here in this case we need to observe one thing. Just give me a second here. We have got the output Daniel and Frozen 2, right? So we have got the output Daniel and Frozen 2. So here in this case, just give me a second. Let me remove this one. Daniel and Monica. Here, this one I'm speaking of. User ID 1 and 2, right? So I'm speaking of user ID 1 and 2. We have here user ID 1 2 3 4. If you observe here, user ID 1 2 3 4 we have, right? So here Daniel and Monica both rated 3 movies, right? So Daniel and Monica both have rated 3 movies in this case. So one we have this one. Just give me a second here. So 1 and 2 here you can clearly observe one thing. So just give me a second here in this case. Daniel with the ID 1 and Monica with the ID 2 we have, right? So Daniel in this case we are considering this one 1 user ID. So Daniel and Monica have rated 3 movies, you can clearly see. So Monica here this one, Monica here this one, Monica this one, right? Both have rated 3 movies. So Daniel I'll consider D here. Daniel has rated 3 movies in this case and Monica has rated 3 movies as well, right? Daniel has rated 3 movies and Monica has rated 3 movies as well. But lexicographically this letter comes first. We are considering lexicographically smaller this one. keyword, right? Or yeah, we are considering lexicographically smaller keyword. So Daniel comes first. We have to consider Daniel in this case output for the output. Both have rated 3 movies. Greatest movies we have to consider the first one, right? So we will be going with Daniel for the first output, right? So for this one, we will consider Daniel. So I hope this is clear how we got Daniel, right? So here in this case, again I'm telling Daniel and Monica both have rated thrice. So we are ignoring Maria and James because Maria has only rated twice here. So we have to consider the greatest, right? One who has rated more. So in this case, we are James has not rated the movies at all, right? We don't have the 4 here in the user ID 4 at all. So we are not considering Maria as well because Maria has rated only twice. In this case, Daniel and this one Monica has rated 3 movies, and we are considering Daniel because in the question they have clearly mentioned that we have to consider lexicographically smaller keyword, right? So in this case, we will be considering Daniel. So the output is Daniel. Let's come to the second one, right? So here, just give me a second here in this case. Just give me a second here. So here, this one I'm speaking of. So movies table. So here, Frozen 2 and Joker both have the average rating of 3.5. This I'm speaking of. So here, Frozen 2 and Avengers we are considering. We are ignoring, Frozen 2 and Joker we are considering. Just give me a second here. Yeah, second one and third one we are considering here. Frozen 2 and Joker we are considering here, right? Frozen 2 and Joker we are considering in this case. So in this case, we have movie ID 123 here. We have as I have said, Frozen 2 and Joker we are considering right here in this case. So Frozen 2 and Joker both have an average rating of 3.5 in February 2020. But we will be considering Frozen 2. Why? Because Frozen 2 is lexicographically smaller. So output will be Frozen 2. Why the output is Frozen 2 here? I'll tell you. So let me, so here we have the ID 2 for the Frozen 2 and 3 for the Joker, right? So here we have the movie ID. This one we need to consider these 3. Just give me a second here. This one, 2 and 3 we need to consider, right? So in this case, we have 5, 2 and 2. So 2 is duplicated here. In this case, rating 2 is duplicated twice. So we can consider any 1, 2, right? So here this will be 5 plus 2 by here in this case we have 3, right? Sorry, 2. We are getting the average of 2. Any 2, any 1 we can consider here, right? So this will be 7 by 2 here. This one will be 7 by 2. And so average, as we are considering the average rating, it will be 3.5 in this case for the Frozen 2 I'm speaking of. For the Joker with the movie ID 3, we already saw that for the Joker we have the movie ID 3. So we will be considering these two again, 3 and 4. So here in this case, 3 plus 4 by 2. So again it will be 7 by 2 and the total answer here is 3.5 in this case. So both this one, Frozen 2 and Joker, for the Frozen 2 and Joker we have the rating 3.5. So we are having the rating 3.5. We are ignoring this one. Why? Because if we consider this one, we will get the smallest rating than this one, 3.5, 3.5. So we are ignoring 1 here in this case for the movie ID 1 with the name I don't know. So just give me a second here in this case. Yeah, with the name Avengers. We are not considering this one. So we are having the highest rating 3.5 for Frozen 2 and this one Joker, and we are considering Frozen 2 because we have to consider lexicographically smallest keyword. So F comes before this one. What do you call? F comes before J. Right? So we will be considering Frozen 2. Now we have the output Daniel for the first one and Frozen 2 for the second one. So that we need to return in the form of output Daniel and Frozen 2. Now I hope this is completely clear. Daniel explanation, they have in the explanation part they have clearly explained here. Daniel and Monica have rated 3 movies. We have already discussed this one. Avengers, Frozen 2 and Joker. But Daniel is smaller lexicographically. We know this one. That is the reason we consider Daniel. And Frozen 2 and Joker have the rating average of 3.5 in February, but Frozen 2 is smaller lexicographically. That is the reason we considered Frozen 2 here. I hope this is clear. I hope the question is completely clear and what we need to do is completely clear as well. First, let's discuss the approach and then let's write the query. So let's go with the first step here. We will find the top user by number of ratings. So first step here is we will be finding the number of we'll find the top user by number of ratings here. So we will join users and we will join the movie rating table. So we will join the users table and movie rating table on the user ID. So next we will group by user to count the total rating. So we have to count the total ratings at any cost, right? So that is the reason we'll be making use of group by clause. So we will be making use of group by user to count the total ratings. So next step here is we will order by. We will be making use of the order by clause. We will be making use of order by count and user name to pick the top user. So we'll be making use of order by count and username. When I say order by and count, we will be going with the descending order for the count. So we will be going with the descending order for the count and ascending order for the username, right? We will be making use of order by count, nothing but the descending order, and user name ascending order to pick the top user, So this is the first step that we'll be following. So the second step here is we have to find the top movie by average rating in February 2020. That's what they have given in the question, right? So two things. So first thing, we will join the movies and movie rating. So these two things, we will join the movies and movie rating on movie ID. So just keep this in mind. We will be joining the movies and movie rating on movie ID. So just keep this in mind. This is very important. So filter the dates to February. So we will filter the dates to February because we have to find the top movie by average rating in February 2020, right? So that is the reason we'll be filtering the dates to February. So the final thing here is we will group by movie, or we have to group by movie to calculate average rating. Finally, we have to calculate the average rating itself right here. So that's what they have given. Main thing is we have to find the top movie by average rating in February 2020. So that is the reason we'll group by movie to calculate the average rating. So this is the approach that we'll be going with. The final step here is, so we have to order by average rating and movie title. Same with the first one, right? So this one we will be going with the descending order. So this one I'm speaking of average rating. We will be sorting this one by descending order by making use of order by clause, and movie title, this one we will be sorting this one based on the ascending order, right? So similar to the first one, if you remember here, this one I'm speaking of. So just give me a second. Order by count and username. First one we did, right? Same thing here. Order by average rating and movie title. So average rating, we are sorting this one by descending order, and movie title by ascending to pick the top movie here. This one I'm speaking of, to pick the top movie, right? So that is how. So we got the output for the first example. If you remember, we got the output Daniel, and second one was Frozen 2. So what happened to this one? Just give me a second here. So that is how we got Daniel and Frozen 2, right? So I hope this is completely clear. The approach is completely clear. This is the approach that we'll be going with. As we are familiar with the approach, as we know the approach now, it will be easier to write the query. Now let's start writing the query. So now let's start writing the query. The first step here is we have to find the user who rated the greatest number of movies, right? So that's what we'll be doing now. Here, this one, let me open the parenthesis here. Let me go with the select keyword here. U.name as results. This is fine. This is coming from users u, right? So let's join here in this case. Let's join movie rating. So this one movie rating, I'll consider MR here this case, right? On, so in this case we are going with a self join, right? U dot user id I'll consider that has to be equal to mr dot user id. So I'll just go with here u dot user id equals dot user underscore id. This is fine. So as we discussed in the approach, we will be going with, or let's go with group by keyword here, right? We have to group based on the user id. So here let me go with user id. So if you remember, we have to sort this one in the descending order, right? So we have to sort the count in the descending order, right? And name in the ascending order. So for the first one, if you remember, so uh, that one we need to articulate, or this one, implement that one in the form of query. So order by count of star. Let me give this one. We are sorting this one in the descending order. I'll just mention the keyword DES in this case. So name in the ascending order, and we are sorting the name as well in the ascending order, right? So u dot name, I'll just give, we don't have to mention ESC. So if we just give here u dot name, this will be sorted in the ascending order itself. So limit, so we need to start from 1. So I'll just give here 1 in this case. So I'll just make use of union all keyword here, right? This is fine. So next, let's go with the second step here. The second step, if you remember, we have to find the movie with highest average rating in the February 2020. So we have already discussed this one. So let me open one more parenthesis here in this case, or let me write here itself. So here in this case, select, or just let me do one thing here. In this case, to start from the new line so that this looks good, right? So same thing, let me do this same thing for the this one as well, for the second step as well. So here I'll just go with select, so this one, movie title as a result. So we have already discussed this one. This is coming from the movies table, this is fine. So let's join the movie rating on movie id. So self join, right? Here we have to just check m dot movie id equals mr, nothing but movie rating dot movie id. So let's go with, let's join first this one, movie rating. So this one, let me consider movie rating mr here, in this case movie rating mr on. So we are going with m dot movie underscore id equals mr dot movie underscore id. This is fine. So let's make use of where keyword here, where movie rating. So we'll be making use of created it, this one. So somewhere, where is this? So just give me a second. So yeah, we are making use of this one basically. So I should have copy pasted for everything, instead I typed everything. This is fine. So this one created it. So between February we need to consider, right? Here, so date, I'll just consider here from 1 to 2020 to 29 to 2020. So February we are considering 29 days, right? So if leap year exists, it is 29 we have to consider. So I'll just give here in this case 2020 02 01. So this is of the order, this one 01, date, month and year, right? This one, this is from, and 2 also we have to give 2. I'll just consider here in this case 2020 02 as it is February, and this one will be 29. So 1 to 29 we are considering, right? So I hope this is clear. Next we have to group by, or we have already discussed this one. We will be grouping by movie id, based on the movie id. So I just make use of the group by keyword here. In this case I'll just give m dot movie underscore id. This is fine. So we will order by, or we have to order by average of movie rating, this one in the descending order, and title in the ascending order, right? Same thing, similar to this one, and just copy the same thing and do necessary changes. That's fine. I'll just type here. In this case, instead of count, we will be going with movie rating, right? So I'll just go with mo.rating here. So this one we are sorting this one in the descending order. So I'll just mention the keyword DESC in this case and title in the ascending order. So ascending order I don't have to mention anything. So in this case we'll be starting with 1. So I'll just give you a limit 1, right? This is fine. So this is it for the query. So let me hit the run button. So I hope this works. Let's see. So what happened here? Runtime error. Unknown column u.user id in on clause. So u.user id I have used here in the line number 6, and yeah, u.user id I have used here itself. Why it is wrong here in this case? So this, oh yeah, this has to be underscore, right? So here you can clearly see user id. This is fine. Let me hit the run button again. So yeah, now we can clearly see the sample test case is getting passed. Means the query works absolutely correct in this case. So let me hit the submit button. Let's see whether this works for all the test cases or not. So you can clearly see here now all the test cases are getting passed. Means the query works absolutely correct in this case, right? I hope whatever the query that we have written is completely clear as well, right? For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.